Hey, what's up, you guys? This is George here, and today I wanted to go over why I don't think I would ever invest in Bitcoin or any type of coin. And let me just explain a little bit why. First and foremost, I don't have anything against people that do want to invest in Bitcoin. Especially people that are very knowledgeable on the topic of Bitcoin or any of the other coins that are out there. I've read up on some of the literature that's out there regarding Bitcoin, and I do like the technology, and I do believe there will be a currency like Bitcoin, maybe Bitcoin itself, that really comes in the future. To determine exactly when that will be, it's hard to do. The US dollar and the currency system has a huge stronghold, not only in this country, but in the world. So we'll see. It would have to be a lot of heads agreeing and a lot of people agreeing and a lot of institutions being on board. And that's like a huge boat to turn. It's like, the Titanic, trying to shift a huge boat is just very, very, very hard to do. It's not impossible. I'm just saying it's very, very hard to do. But with that said, the technology, I'm all for it. As far as the actual stock in Bitcoin or shares of Bitcoin, because it's technically not really a stock, but you could trade it. I see it as a commodity, almost like gold or, whatever. There's tons of commodities out there. And Bitcoin, that's how I see it. A lot of investors see it that way as well. Warren Buffett was, interviewed and asked, and he basically said it's a commodity. He used the analogy of the tulip frenzy back in the early 1900s, or even before the 1900s. But it was, look it up. You can, you Google or YouTube the tulip frenzy or tulip investments. But back maybe hundreds of years ago, it's a long time ago, people saw the tulip as this huge investment opportunity, and so it was I believe the first bubble where people were just buying tulips. Just got super expensive, and there was just like this demand for tulips. It's a flower. Do you guys know what tulips are? It's basically this flower. It's a nice flower. The price went up and up and up and up and up. And eventually it popped, and people that had bought all these tulips, because the value of them started going up, people didn't want to buy them anymore. And so at some point it just dropped. The value of tulips just dropped significantly, and people that held on to all these tulips were left with these devalued, overvalued tulips that no one's gonna buy for what they paid for. And I kind of share his sentiment that it's very speculative. There's no intrinsic value on Bitcoin, except for that one day the technology itself might take over, if you will. Whatever your view on it is. I know there's some people that are really, really into it and all the details, and there's like borderline conspiracy type stuff. Only the people that I've listened to or heard about Bitcoin, that's what it seems like. I'm not educated enough on it, so don't hate me if, well, you're probably gonna hate anyways. A lot of the Bitcoin guys tend to be very defensive. You do not talk about their Bitcoin. Especially, people that are heavily invested. I could see why. I can see why they would be defensive or be very protective over the investment. Definitely the people that, invested and made millions, definitely have the right, for sure. Hey, but But in a lot of those cases, to me, it was mainly just luck, pure luck, that it just happened to rise because of, you know, the emotions of people and investors who wanted to ride certain waves. And you can see that in the stock market too. I see it very similar with like penny stocks or any type of stock where people just see an undervalued stock price and you know, hunch, or they do some research, or there's just this vibe, right, around a certain company, and the stock price continue to goes up and up and up and up. And that's why you see a lot of stock prices that are overvalued. You know, there's just a lot of companies that are just very, very overvalued, traditionally, at least. Traditionally, they're overvalued. Does it mean that they'll ever pop or any of those crash? At this point, I've seen it all. So and so with Bitcoin, you know, maybe down in the future, if it does a dip or anything like that, maybe I'll buy a couple fractional shares of it, just, you know, just to throw a little bit of cash in it. But I don't typically do that. Less than 5% of my entire portfolio goes into semi-speculative trading. It's not fully speculative because I do a lot of research. I mean, relatively a lot of research, if that even made sense. But I do research. You know, I do, to me, enough research where I feel comfortable, confident. I reduce my risk by doing my research on companies. I invest in the companies. I see I see what they're doing. I see, you know, where the industry is going. Like, I invest a decent amount in energy, but not every energy company is going to be profitable. Not every energy company has strong foundations. Not every company has proven financial records of good stewardship or, you know, sound judgment when it comes to running a energy company. I've worked for energy companies, an energy company myself, so I'm familiar with the internal workings of an energy company. So, but that's like, I would say, the extent of my speculative trading. I have a little bit invested in a like a pharmaceuticals research company, but just a very, very small amount. But that I typically hold everything for the long term. I typically hold stocks for a long period of time. I don't think I've ever traded anything less than 6 to 12 months. My philosophy, if you will, is long term. Is I'm going to keep it for a long period of time. Like 95% of my entire portfolio, I'm going to keep for 20, 30 years. Bitcoin doesn't really fall into my philosophy. And again, I'm not hating if you do, but that's really the main reasons why I don't currently trade, or again, maybe probably won't ever. Most likely I won't
do anything to anyone for any reason, ever, no matter what.
Invest in Bitcoin. I'm pretty steady. I'm the turtle. If I had to choose to be the turtle or the hare, I'm more of a turtle.
I like turtles.
When it comes to investing, and investing specifically in companies, I'm a firm believer in investing in things that you're comfortable. You know, Warren Buffett talks about your core competency, basically the things that you do know, stick to those things. Warren Buffett hasn't historically ever really invested in things he doesn't know well. Even if he missed the boat on a lot of things, I believe, you know, he was questioned why he didn't invest in Amazon, and he's just said, I just didn't know enough about it. It wasn't in his core competency. You know, he knows about Coca-Cola, he knows about See's Candy. You know, he knows about certain things, and that's where he's going to stick to his guns. He's going to stick to what he knows and what he's comfortable with, which, by the way, that really significantly reduces your risk. because knowledge does reduce your risk. The more you are aware and know what you're doing and what you're looking at, not only do you reduce your risk, but you also invest. I'm a huge trader. I'm not a huge trader, but investing, and you reduce your risk, and you're more confident in the companies you're investing in. You know, Warren Buffett. Again, I'm gonna talk a lot about Warren Buffett, but he's one of my mentors, if you will. Like, I don't know him, he doesn't know me, but I consider him a mentor, just by reading his books and watching what he does. He once said, you could get really, really wealthy. Actually, he said this multiple times if you look him up, but he's known to say that, you know, if you only had a handful of picks, you could get really, really wealthy if you took a long time picking those things. I mean, I'm butchering his quotes and I'm butchering what he said, but the gist of it, at least for me, is like, all you need is like just a small handful of companies that you feel very comfortable with, and that you can investing for a long period of time, and think as if you're buying the entire company. So even though you're investing, you know, $1,000 or whatever in a company, think about it as you buying the company. Like, would you buy the company? If you had billions of dollars, would you buy Apple? I would. That's why I invest in Apple. Would you buy Netflix? Would you buy Amazon? Would you buy Nike? Would you buy whatever it is? I don't buy all of those. But what is it that you are knowledgeable about? And like, for example, if you do love Nike, for example, or Apple, do your research on the company. Look at their financials. Just do everything that you can, you know, within your competency, to research in those companies. Even if you've already invested, you know, some people are like, well, you know, I'm gonna analyze and never do anything. No, I mean, I'm always in favor of like dipping your toes in the water and just checking it out for yourself, and maybe doing a trade or buying, you know, your first stock on Robinhood. But then, you know, watch your investment. You know, it's, I think even Warren Buffett said this, where it's like, you know, you put all your eggs in one basket, but just watch that basket, you know. So he goes back to that, what the other saying, which is like, all you need is a basket full of, you know, like maybe 5 or 10 companies, but watch it, like watch what they're doing, like research, you know, in those companies. But anyways, this wasn't supposed to be a video on the way I invest or the way you should invest or anything like that. It was my take on cryptocurrency, and specifically Bitcoin, and why I personally don't invest in it currently. But that's all I have. If you have any questions, please put your comments down below. I'd love to read them. So far, I don't really have any, but hopefully I'll start to get more people commenting on this channel. I really want to get to 100 subscribers in the next couple months. So if you can please do me a big one and subscribe down below, hit the subscribe button, and there's a little notification bell. You hit the notification bell. Apparently that helps the algorithm, and it notifies you of my next video, so you can watch them and then critique my videos, comment on them, please. I want to get some feedback. I really want to just provide value. I want to be able to share the knowledge that I've gotten in the past 10, 15 years in investing, personal finance, career growth, income growth, entrepreneurship, any of those things I want to talk about and share my story, my journey with you, and my journey in being a multimillionaire, and living a legacy for my family. That's all I have for right now. Again, subscribe if you haven't, like this video, it really helps me out and encourages me to keep going. That's all I have. See you on the next one.